Hi everyone and welcome. I'm really glad you're here with me today. I'm making a history soap. What is a history soap? Well, it's going to be made with shavings and fragments from all the soaps I've made on YouTube over the last 5 years. And a matter of fact, some of the soap in here is even older than that. I just thought it would be fun to do this, and I'm going to tell you that I tried 2 different methods, and you'll see them both within this video. The first method you'll see here is I'm using my double heart molds, and the idea was that one side of mold I would fill with the curls, the remnants, and the other side it would just be the pure soap color. And I should have, of course, mixed the remnants in the batter first, then poured it into that side of the mold. Because what ended up happening is that when I poured the soap into these molds, you'll see it in the finished soap. They're invisible, pretty much, except for a few bars you can see a little bit, but most of it's internal. So until the soap is used over time and the outer surface wears off, it's not even going to be noticeable, these alternating colors, right? So that is, in my opinion, that is a mistake. And so fortunately, because of using all of this in the soap, I had extra batter left over. And that is how I actually made the second soap. But you'll see all of that here within this video. But always mix your remnant or confetti, whatever phrase you want to use for your shavings off your soap, mix it in a batter first, then put it in place, rather than putting it in and then pouring it. Okay, it's just much more effective. As I put on the screen there is chamomile infused oil here as well, and that's actually going to be fragrance of this soap is chamomile essential oil and patchouli essential oil, and the blend together is just phenomenal. It's almost a musical fragrance. I know that's a funny word to use, but it really is such a great it's kind of got a fruity floral combination that I think is really, really nice. Now here I'm adding rhubarb root to give a pink color, and by not infusing it in oil first, I don't get that bright red. We get more of a bright pink color. And you could also get this from using pink kaolin clay, or various different things you could do to get a pink. But I really like the way rhubarb root leaves the speckling that clay doesn't do. Clay gives you more of that smooth, clear color. But because I know that this soap, because I'm doing the confetti as one of the layers in the final soap, I really like that this will give it that speckly kind of color. I think it just is a nice combination for the other patterns in the soap. But here initially though, pouring the hearts, I really was hopeful that there would be real differentiation between the right heart and the left heart. But it just didn't come to pass. And that's one thing that if I can teach you one lesson through my mistakes, is that you should always mix it in your batter first. These are the essential oils. I just love how dark patchouli is, but it does affect your color in your soap as well. So something also to keep in mind, that fortunately in the case I'm using dark colorant anyway, because patchouli does add a little bit of darkness to that. So for instance, if you were doing a light color like a white soap or a pale yellow soap, that patchouli can affect the color, which actually you see in the second soap that I make here. So this is just me pouring the color into the molds, and again, I was hopeful while pouring this of what it would look like. But I also realized about halfway through this, you know what? That soap is going to float up. It's not going to stay there on the bottom, right? Now, you could alternately pour a bit of cocoa butter in the bottom of the mold, then add your confetti or whatever, just so it would stick a bit. But I still think it's better just to go ahead and mix it with some batter, like some of this batter, and pour it into that side, and then pour the rest on the other side. And I think that, yeah, I got a little sloppy there, as I sometimes do. But it's a good lesson. And I will tell you that the fragrance in these is very strong. So if you like a strongly fragranced soap, this is one. Most of my soaps are not strongly fragranced, but I used the limit of patchouli that I could in this, the high limit. And as far as the chamomile, there's chamomile infusion in the oils, but then again there's also a little bit of chamomile essential oil. Chamomile essential oil is kind of expensive, and I had some left over from a previous job that I did for someone, so I was happy to include it here as well. And this was what was left over. I poured it into a standalone mold, and I'll show you in a minute how that is. But here you can see that we just have some pretty little speckledy hearts, but you can't even see the embeds or the confetti or the soap shavings or curls. There is one bar where some air got trapped, and I'll show you that one. See there? There you can see the goodies on the inside. But other than that, the rest of them were completely invisible. You never know that it was there till maybe weeks and weeks of using the soap. So here I've decided to add a second layer. So I've decided to make the second soap that I'm making a layered soap. So I put in the pink part first, is in the bottom of the mold, and then I'm going to color the center part with purple clay. One thing I can say about using the purple clay, if you're going to use it, try not to use it with a dark essential oil like patchouli, because it really does turn that purple into sort of a brownish color, which something which in retrospect I probably wouldn't have used the patchouli in this color, but I wanted it to be fragrance the same throughout the bar, and so I did it anyway. But I thought, well, I'll add enough purple clay that maybe it'll override the dark patchouli, but it didn't quite do the trick. I am pleased with the color. It did come out. Actually, once the bars dried a bit, you can see the purple a little clearer than it shows here when first making it. So that's one positive outcome, that it did get better. It turned more of that lavendery color. But again, using dark patchouli or any essential oil that's dark, like I recently used orange essential oil, and it's a tenfold orange oil, and so that really does affect the color. That will, if you want orange soap, sort of a brown orange soap, don't use orange essential oil, because you kind of just have to go with it and go, okay, it's going to be orange, and that may not be what you were going for. Just something to keep in mind. So in this case, you can see I am mixing the shavings into the batter. This is what I should have done on the first soap. And this is the second layer that I'm pouring of this soap. And I really liked the texture. That is not attractive. Seeing it poured in there, that does not look pretty. It looked like something that it shouldn't look like, right? But fortunately, that's just something we have to deal with sometimes with soap making. Sometimes we're going to get some unusual appearances, but luckily the next layer takes care of that. So this one I'm just using some French yellow clay, and again, because of the dark patchouli oil in the essential oil, this too is affected. So rather than getting the nice pastel yellow, it's more of a tan yellow. That's the best word I can think of. Sort of a suede color. And that's not what I really wanted, but that's what we got. And I really do think that this combination, though, of essential oils is wonderful. So I also want to take this opportunity to say thank you to all of you that have been shopping in the Soapy Oaks Etsy shop. It has meant so much to me since retiring from a job that I have such loyal customers and such and such great repeat customers. I am trying to add a little rewards in my soap orders, just orders overall. One of the things I do is I laser engrave some coasters that I'm sending to folks. Sometimes I'm doing the keychains. These are just my ways of saying thank you to those of you who have been such great customers, and I so appreciate all of you. And here I'm just adding a little bit of texture to the top. I decided that rather than just leaving this one tone on top, I wanted to add some dimension to it. So then I'm sprinkling on top a bit of the, what was this? Not red clay, Brazilian red clay, which is actually more brown than red. But that's okay, because with the changes in the color from the patchouli, it actually blended really, really well with it. So all I did is dusted the top with it. And one trick that I'll share with you, if you're doing something along these lines, spray the dry powder with some rubbing alcohol, or in this case isopropyl alcohol, which was 99%. It makes it liquid, and of course that alcohol evaporates right off, but it does such a great job of helping to blend the color in and give it sort of that brushed look, sort of that watercolory look. And that's something that I have found very useful, is to wet the powder a bit, and it works much better. So if that's something you choose to do. I don't see a lot of people doing this, but it's just something it's lazy man's way to decorate. That's me. So so I'm just slicing it into the loaves. It cut very easily. Sometimes when you're using embeds or anything, that can be a little challenging cutting through it, but due to the fact that these were small particles, it cut right through with no problem. Now, you'll notice there the outer edges look a little yellow. That's because those were against the outer mold. As soon as air hits them, that yellow turns to pink, as you'll see there. All right, so these, like I said, they cut like a dream. The individual bars were easy. I really was happy with how these turned out. In the end, like I said, the yellow is a little more sort of that suede color, and the purple is very faint and a little more, has sort of those gray undertones. But I was very pleased with them. And these are bars. These are 7-ounce plus bars, so they'll go a very long way. Full of lots of great goat milk and good oils and butters. These are just going to be really nice in the shower. And you get a little bit of exfoliation from the embeds, because that is a drier hard soap within the new soap. So you do get the benefit of that as well. So yeah, they came out really well. I was quite pleased with these. Things are going well. The new kitty, I've actually named the new kitty Tammy. She and Barry have become fast friends. Doug likes her, and he weighs about 50 times more than she does, but he's very gentle with her. She will lay right up next to him, sleep, and she doesn't weigh more than a pound or so. She's just a little tiny thing. But she's really made good friends with all of the other animals, and I couldn't be happier with just how she has blended in with the rest of the family. So I'd love to hear from you all on how you're doing. Some of you have relayed such personal things to me via either email or even in the comments sometimes, and I want to tell you how much that means to me, that you have become like friends. And I mean that such wonderful, wonderful comments and conversation with you all. I just think that this has given such an opportunity, I think, for so many of us to come together and share a common love of creation, right? Whether it be soaps or tinctures or whatever, and find what the things we have in common. So what do you think of the color of these? What are your thoughts? I think it came out pretty great. You can really see here that lavender color starting to come through now as they've dried. And these will take a few weeks, of course, before they're ready to put in the shop, but I'm really happy with them. So take care, everyone. Have a fantastic day, and I'll see you back soon. Goodbye.